Hello, we are back on a pre-record. I'm Holly, sitting on Warbunter Yuin country, and I'm here with Sarada from Organic India. And I'll hand over to you, Sarada, to give us your spiel. Who are you and where are you in the
Oh,
world?
namaste, namaste, Holly, namaste, everybody, wise women. I'm Sarada, calling in from Bunjalung country in northern New South Wales. I work with Organic India. I'm a naturopath, a yogi, and a mum. And I've worked with Organic India for about 13 years in different capacities, but now I take care of the business for Australia. So when you see Tulsi tea on the shelf in the health food store or in the independent grocer, the work that I do is to make sure that we have stock coming through the shelves, but also that we have sales reps out there telling stores and educating about this incredible brand and this incredible range of tea. So a lot of my work is educating and talking about herbs, about herbal medicine, about the benefits of simply including herbs in your life. And it can be as straightforward as drinking good quality herbal tea every day. And of course, I spend a lot of time talking about the most bewildering herb that I've ever come across as a herbalist, and that would be Tulsi, Holy Basil.
Awesome. Right, we will get to talking all about why Tulsi is so special. We probably should tell everybody. So Organic India have partnered with Wise Women Gathering for, I'm not sure, has it been since the beginning or at least very close?
I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
been a while.
Yeah, and we
We always
love
love
that
to share the Tulsi love.
we've got our little tea set up in Linda's in the side of the auditorium there in the kitchen, and we just have all the Tulsis and people can choose whichever they want, and it's just one of those nice little added touches that we get to do thanks to you always sending me giant boxes of tea before the conference. So beautiful.
Well, we talk about sharing the Tulsi love, and there is so much that comes in our cup of tea. I mean, they say that a cup of tea is like a hug in a mug. And science has actually validated that when we hold our warm cup of tea, our brain releases endorphins, which are very similar to the way we respond to a big warm hug. So there is so much in this mug of tea. There's what the brain does psychologically when we hold the warmth, but then it's what we put in it and which tea bag or which leaf are we choosing to go into that boiling water, to steep and infuse, to nourish ourselves. And I think herbal wisdom is just so vast and so broad. There's healing in every herb. Every herb has healing for us, has healing messages. But the body has an innate healing capacity. So it's when those two intelligences meet that you get the alchemy and the interconnectedness of us all. We are all related and interconnected, whether we are person, plant, animal, rock, stone. And when we take in these healing herbs, we become the consciousness of those herbs. And we think that, to make radical changes in our lives, we need to go on lengthy fasting retreats and we need to go off grid and do all of this. But I actually think it's the compounding effect of the little things we do every day that makes the biggest difference for longevity and for the quality of our life.
Yeah, those incremental steps of everyday choices that you're making. So talk to us about what do we get in our choice for this tea, right? Like we make a choice for this tea specifically.
Yeah.
Like we said, people probably have seen it on the shelves or in their friend's house, but you might not know about all the choices. So tell us.
So it's well, look, here's the first box that ever came out. This is Tulsi. Some people think it's a brand name. Organic India is the brand. Tulsi is the herb. Holy Basil. In Ayurveda, she wears the crown as queen of herbs. So Ayurveda, for anyone who doesn't know, is the oldest traditional medicine system in the world. It's actually older than TCM, Chinese medicine. It is India's science of life. It incorporates everything from what we eat to when we eat to how much we eat to how much time we should take in between eating. And that is adjusted depending on our constitution. Ayurvedic wisdom teaches how to prepare for sleep from waking in the morning, how to prepare for the best quality sleep. It's the balances of life. It draws on nutrition and herbs and lots of different rituals, yoga, meditation, the way we think, the way we sleep, the way we breathe. All of these things are spoken about in Ayurveda. And there are hundreds of herbs that Ayurveda draws on. I like to think of all of those herbs sitting in a pyramid. And at the very top, there's a subset of herbs in a little top pyramid called the Rasayana herbs. These are the tonic herbs. These are the longevity herbs. These are the life promoting herbs. I mean, all of the herbs promote life, obviously, but these are supreme herbs. They're exceptional in what they can do. And then right at the top, at the pinnacle, is Tulsi, and she wears the crown. She is the queen of herbs. She's, we call her the incomparable one. Holy basil, sacred basil, mother of all herbs. I mean, really, she transcends physical. I mean, in the Hindu tradition, Tulsi is regarded as the goddess incarnate. So for thousands of years, yogis and meditators and rishis and sages and wise people would meditate on Tulsi to awaken higher states of consciousness, to connect with God, to connect with oneness, to connect with all that there is. So we have a herb that really opens and connects us, but in a very functional, physical, sort of contemporary way. It's also a herb that is what we call adaptogenic. So a herb that helps us adapt or adjust in times of stress. So this herb actually affects a healthier stress response for us. And it actually lowers, it has the ability to lower cortisol, which is that's the hormone that we release when we're stressed. And so this ancient herb couldn't be more relevant in contemporary times. Here we have yet again another example of herbs standing the test of time and just transcending whatever epoch we're in, because this herb couldn't be more relevant now, being stress relieving and immune boosting in the one package. And of course, there's much, much more. I mean, there's something that's been quite topical with mental health and aging. This herb is also classified as a nootropic. So a nootropic is a smart plant. It's a herb that affects good health for our brain. It's brain. Some people say brain boosters, cognitive enhancers, but also just that central nervous system nourishment. And this is really, really important for the health of our brains and therefore the health of our every aspect of our being. And another thing that I find really interesting is the radio protection, the radiation protection that Tulsi can offer, because now we're surrounded by Bluetooth here and Wi-Fi there and 5G towers. So this is the herb that, if you Google Tulsi and radiation protection, a whole bunch of stuff will come up, and it's really fascinating, all of the different things that Tulsi does in our bodies to help protect us from EMFs.
Support that. I remember someone said to me years ago, like, herbs don't do the healing, they support your body to do the healing. That's what I'm hearing you say there. I love
that. Yes, when I was practicing in private practice as a naturopath years ago, I used to say the herbs only work if you take them. Your body is going to meet this herbal wisdom, and then you're going to see results.
Yeah. That's so great. Okay, so we've had lots of workshops about Tulsi at Wise Women Gathering over the years. Liz Conlon did one, you did one, I think, last year. And of course, I've never attended because, my time is elsewhere. But I've just learned so much more about Tulsi that I didn't know, Sarada. That's so great.
Yeah, so Tulsi, there's so much history and culture. For those of you who've traveled to India, at every corner there's a shrine. Even in the middle of the road, there'll be a shrine. And you'll see a little herb, and it's often struggling. So it hasn't been watered or something, but You'll see the incense, you'll see the candles. That's Tulsi. Tulsi sits at the deity, at the temple. It's Tulsi that is protecting and purifying the space. And these are key words: protection and purification. And that relates directly back to the EMF chat I just, the download back there. But, you know, the fact that the liver and the kidneys respond so well, their function responds really well to Tulsi. That protection and purification, the antioxidant the infusion of antioxidants, the way the body responds, you know, the way the body responds to antioxidants. But you know, that liver and kidney function is so very important. Our detox pathways nowadays, I don't know if they've ever been challenged the way they're being challenged now, with, you know, everything from microplastics to, oh, you name it.
Yeah.
I love, actually, there's one more thing I'd love to share, just that incredible stonework at the Taj Mahal is lined with hedgerows of Tulsi to protect and purify that space, protect the space from the polluted city of Agra. And that's a beautiful, I mean, it's also a demonstration of the doctrine of signatures there, in that this is the protection and purification that's being offered to us.
So good. It's amazing. Yeah. Oh, now I'm going to drink more Tulsi.
It's really a bewildering herb. I mean, there's a beautiful article, and I'm so happy to share it. I can send it through as a PDF.
Yep.
Professor Mark Cohen wrote years ago. He was head of the wellness faculty for a long time at RMIT University in Melbourne, and a dear friend of Organic India. And he wrote an article compiling all of the studies on Tulsi that have ever existed, and it's titled "Tulsi, a Herb for All Reasons." And there really is a lot that goes on in this simple, humble cup of tea.
Amazing. Well, you'll send that to me, and we'll link that in on your page on the symposium sessions. Wow, this is just incredible. This is not where I thought we were going at all. So I'm blown away. I mean, I feel like probably a lot of our audience does already know this, right? Like all the herbalists probably already know this information. But for those of us who are not specific in the herbal world, this is great. It's excellent information. So I know too that Organic India has that's the magic of the herb that you're working with as the company and all of the products that you have. But also there's more about this company that I think is really important and speaks to us making daily choices. So talk to us about that. Actually, what I want to say before that is you know, we're, as a conference and as a community, we're very interested in decolonizing, trauma-informed, not appropriating, all of that stuff. And so people might already be listening and going, well, how is this like not appropriation? Because it's India and they've got the herbs from India. And so speak a little bit, I know you can speak to that. And then also what if we buy a cup of this tea, what does it do for everyone else?
Yeah. So, of course, we can buy Tulsi from many different, source Tulsi from many different sources, and we can also grow, depending on where we live, we can grow Tulsi ourselves in our gardens. What makes Organic India Tulsi very special is that the founders of the company from the outset intended to work with the farmers in India to address a very dire social situation that was really devastating for the founders, who were living in India at the time and studying alongside local Indian people with their guru. And they noticed that in the marketplace, when they would go to shop for fruit and vegetables, that there was very little transparency around growing environment. How had the produce been grown? Had it been sprayed or not sprayed? How had Mother Earth been treated in the growing? And were the farmers being paid properly for this produce? So there were several levels of care and concern that they felt. At the same time, they were watching this incredible local reverence for Tulsi, and just amazed that in the West, we hadn't heard about this incredible healing herb. Their guru had instructed them to establish a private limited company and implement all of his teachings. And so these are the teachings of humanity, kindness, respect for all beings. So when they set about to take Tulsi to the world as a herb tea and as an incredible healing herb, they also set about to effect change for good, and in a sense, a paradigm shift for farming and for agriculture in India. So Organic India became the first company to farm organically in India, and since then has inspired many more to follow. But they knew that they couldn't just procure Tulsi and then produce tea bags. They knew they needed to work with whole villages of marginalized farmers. So some people may not be aware that in India, agriculture is comprised of 1 to 2 acre plots. Very small family farms comprise the bulk of production, primary production in India. And there's always been heavy, very intense pressure from chemical companies. Farmers are led to believe that they cannot afford to farm without farming with chemicals, without buying these expensive chemicals, but actually they can't afford to farm with them. And they end up in incredible debt, and suicide rates are the result, because they can't see their way out. They end up drinking this stuff. So it's a very devastating situation for farmers. So the founders of this company decided that they really wanted to effect the change from soil and through every single, we call it link in a chain of consciousness, every single person who is involved, from the soil, from the farmers, from the farming families, through to those who work in the production facility, through to you and I who work with it and drink the tea, that we are all interconnected, and that every single one of us is a link in a chain of consciousness. And then unless every single one of us is truly well, the whole entity can't be truly well. We talk about it's a guiding principle we call true wellness. So the founders worked with one village at first, and somehow managed to gain the trust of the entire village to take this giant leap of faith to convert to farming organically. And then another village and another village followed, and now we work with over 2,000 farmers and over 10,000 acres of farming land. And wow. But that was over 25 years ago, and the business model was always prioritizing people and planet. So in effect, it was a business that came about, or it was created, birthed yesterday, but it's a company for tomorrow, because the founders also believe it's, and I think everyone who works in the company feels the same way, that it is absolutely possible to have a thriving entity that is also profitable, but that is giving back. And to demonstrate the sustainability of that is then a way, that's the path, isn't it, for inspiring other companies to enter business consciously. Mm-hmm. There's a really beautiful story about our oldest farmer, Kailash Singh, he's an old man now, but he was the first farmer. He was actually the leader of the village who began initially going into growing Tulsi organic in conversion. And he says, Kailash Singh, he says, when I started farming organically, the birds from my childhood returned to my land. So birds he hadn't seen for decades started coming back to the soil. So it's incredibly powerful. So there's this incredible work with regenerative agriculture and the training and the mentoring that happens, working with our very own farmers. But we're not just singling out the person who's tilling the soil. We're looking at the whole health of the whole village. So we're looking at the farmers, their families, their children, their elders, and looking at what are the social situations challenging them and how can the company help. So there are now medical centres offering free medical care for all. And what can't be done there is taken care of via traveling physicians, doing cataract operations for the elders and pre and postnatal checks for nursing mums and pregnant mums. And solar panels have gone onto the roofs of houses so that children can do their homework after dark. This is addressing literacy and opportunity for the next generation. And also the elderly are having less falls. They can see where they're going now after dark. There are less snake and scorpion bites for animals and livestock and for family. So there's a lot going on. Water filters into homes. An additional well went down to make water accessible to all, regardless of caste. There are lots of different things that are happening in order to restore the dignity to whole communities of farmers, and once again recognize the interconnectedness of us all. We all share this earth, we all share this planet, and we all respect one another.
So good. I just don't even know what to say. Like it's quite incredible. And I think, we all see the pamphlets about the next thing you can donate to or the way you can save the world, but it's so good to hear, like, on a 25-year kind of history, like what can be built over time when there's just that one focus, but huge broad focus, right? Yeah, all through tea, all through people drinking tea.
Exactly. And I think that there's a really simple, when we don't have to donate once a month, to this, we buy in every day with the choices that we make. And I know many of us try so hard to make conscious choices and to choose wisely. And sometimes we feel compromised, but it is as simple as taking one sip at a time. In this case, that the tea that we choose to buy when we're in the supermarket or in the health food store can effect change. And that it's these simple ways that we participate daily that add up to the paradigm shift that we're all longing for and we're all actively taking steps towards.
Yeah, and I think it's also relevant to say to people, like, okay, if you're not into drinking tea bags, that if you grow the Tulsi at your house, that's linked in that, what did you call it? Links of consciousness. The chain of consciousness.
Absolutely.
Because she's going to be talking to those herbs that are in India. And, like, it's all still part of that same web.
Oh my gosh, she talks to me. I imagine that if you're going to grow Tulsi, or those of you who grow Tulsi will know, I step into my garden and she's there. She's hi. Or sometimes there's something challenging that I'm working on with work and I think, oh my gosh, how do I do this? And then I step outside and Tulsi, it's just that sort of that omnipresence of Tulsi and the consciousness of this incredible herb that literally radiates or sort of emanates from this humble looking plant.
She is quite just simple, right? There's nothing real fancy looking about her. I had her for one season. Sally Kingsford Smith gave me a cutting and I grew her for the summer, and I just didn't realize that she wouldn't cope with, like, I've got pretty harsh climate here. So she didn't make it.
She doesn't like wet feet. She doesn't like cold feet. She's no good in frost. We're trying to grow Tulsi down in some very protected spaces down at our sister company, Peninsula Hot Springs, down at Mornington Peninsula. Lots of special care. But the irony of that is actually Tulsi likes tough love. So here in Byron Bay, Shire, and then, along sort of the Queensland coast and everything, she actually doesn't like too much attention. She just, prune her after she's flowered and seeded, and watering twice a week if it hasn't rained, and that sort of thing. And otherwise she's happy just because she grows in that more sort of a drier environment.
Oh, see, that's even great information, Sarada. Amazing. All right. So
I guess maybe just to explain for those listeners and those beautiful wise women who are going to try Tulsi for the first time at WWG this year, every blend of every single organic India tea that you taste, that you take, or you're sampling or enjoying, contains Tulsi as a base. So the benefits of Tulsi are across the entire range. And then you'll find that the blends are paired with different herbs that you might be more familiar with, such as peppermint or chamomile or rose. But Tulsi's in all of it. So you will enjoy the benefits of Tulsi. Even in the masala chai, there's a beautiful blend masala chai. We've sent some down. That one you can add milk and honey to if you like your little tea, sweet and milky. And you've got this beautiful chai with Tulsi. I mean, the chai story is really beautiful. Very, very special. Chai originally was made by the Ayurvedics for a regal king or someone very royal and in India who wanted a beverage that was going to cure all. So originally chai came together as a combination of all these incredible herbs and spices, and there wasn't black tea, and it wasn't taken with milk and honey. But adding Tulsi to the chai, we have once again a very historic beverage and culturally significant to the Ayurvedics, and in India, we're sharing this incredible herbal wisdom from this place. But it has, yes, so just the benefits of these herbs, the cardamom, the ginger, the cinnamon, the pepper, the Tulsi. It's incredible, just an incredible gift to us.
A conversation with our bodies, right?
Yeah, and also I think, when we take our cup of tea, we're connecting with these herbs, we're connecting with the farmers, we're connecting with Mother Earth, and we have this opportunity to give thanks. We're also connecting with others because often we're communing, we're joining with our tea break, but it's an opportunity to give thanks. And even if we take a few moments on our own just to hold our tea while it's steeping, to take a few deep breaths and to consciously invite the wisdom of the herb to connect with our body's innate healing intelligence. And if we do that once or twice a day, then there's this conscious connection and meeting, and it just potentiates that alchemy that happens naturally.
Yeah, it's keeping in conversation and communion with your body and other, in relationship. It's really beautiful. So that's an invitation, everybody who attends conference, and when you get to that tea station and you'll see those little green packets and you'll be like, oh, that's that lady that was talking about the tea. And you can take that moment, and there's plenty of space there in that little tea area to do that, right?
Yeah, or just go and sit in that sunshine, or if it's raining, find a little cuddle huddle, just sit down and hug that mug, let the endorphins flow. Just be really present with your tea.
That's great. I was sort of brought up around a bunch of hippie women that taught me to do that with food too, right? Like every time it's that whole like conversation of grace. Christians would sit and say grace to the food. It's that giving thanks for everything we're receiving, but we can do that every time we eat, every time we drink a glass of water. It goes on and on and on. Like,
absolutely,
it's the conversations that we're having.
Yeah, that's right. And the gratitude.
So we're hearing the reasons why Organic India is a match for Wise Women Gathering, and why we are the partnership. We've got that herbal intelligence and holistic kind of living. There's a cultivation of community, not just within our community, but expanding right out across the world and to all our relations. Is there anything else you would say about that partnership, why you think it continues, and why organic,
Organic India shares, we talk about sharing products and solutions for healthy conscious living, but Organic India loves to connect with tribes such as the WWG tribe, because I think all these beautiful wise women share that value of healthy conscious living and celebrate what that means and what it means. It enhances every single one of us is so grateful for the potential that we have when we're living in a healthy and a conscious way, and we know that has a ripple effect to all of our own villages and our own communities, and the work that we do and the every person that we connect with. So the coming together as a tribe, as WWG are doing next weekend, it's such a powerful and important and potent time where we top up and we nourish and we allow ourselves to be nourished. And there's that interchange, isn't there, and that interconnectedness. And that's where Organic India joins the tribe and is a part of, and the nourishment and a part of the story. And I think the value of connection with the self, connection with other, connection with our planet, connection with our sisters and our brothers, connection with our, as you say, all of our relatives across the globe. We're all one. We share that. I think we share that guiding principle, that understanding of true wellness. What is it to be truly well? How can we be truly well if our sister or our brother is ailing in some way? We all need to work together to help each other along. And I think a lot of the women who attend WWG are practitioners themselves and understand how important it is to put on our gas mask and then go and help others, put on the mask. We have to do the work daily to nourish ourselves so that then we can help others, and so on and so forth. And it's such important work, the coming together, and this work that all of the women are doing over the weekend of WWG.
Yeah. I think about how probably in more traditional times, we would have been spread out quite far from each other, these women who do this healing work and this consciousness work and this holding villages kind of work. And it in that kind of environment where we are also spread out, we don't have things like the internet, the way of reconnecting to self and community in terms of like other people who are like you would be to come on these great long adventures, come together, spend a weekend or a week or some sort of celebration there where we're filling all our cups so that we can go back to our villages and do the work. And this is like the modern version of that. Yeah,
it really is. This is the modern day Bunya Nut Festival.
Yeah,
the pilgrimage. It really is.
Yeah. And even so that we're talking about practitioners, but also like just all the other women who are maybe not practitioners, but are doing this healing work in one way or another, right? You're making brews for your kids, you're caring for parents, all the elements that we are just, partly acculturated and overcultured too, but also that we choose to because this community is so full of giving, caring people.
I think that's so important, Hollie. Yes, exactly. And I think these women know who they are. They're the ones their friends turn to for help.
Nice. Yeah.
And they're the ones whose pantry their friends are looking and go, what have you got in here? What are you doing with this? They're that natural fountain of knowledge. They just naturally have this knowledge and awareness and passion and interest. They're sort of they're the bridge, really a bridge, and such an inspiration. And they probably don't even realize how inspiring they are for so many others around them, for family and friends and workmates. And yes, you're right, as a parent, to be doing this work for children, the modeling of healthy conscious living for our next generation, so that they naturally include kale in their diet.
And I think that it can, when like as I was listening to you say, like you probably don't even realize how much people are inspired by you. This kind of living, like this living outside of the mainstream culture, can be lonely at times, and that's another reason why this conference is so beneficial, because we come together and we're like, there's my people.
Yes.
Now I get it. Like now I can go back into everyday life and all the crunchy bits that don't quite fit me, because I've got this place to keep coming back to and these women to come back to.
I think that is such a strong insight, because it can get very crunchy out there. It's really insightful, yes, because a lot of us are pioneering in our own families and in our own villages, and we're forging a new path. And I think once again, that's where a cup of whatever we're choosing, or taking home a box of Organic India Tulsi, so that every day I can just top myself up with that wisdom and reconnect with what I experienced at Wise Women Gathering, and stay connected. And it's a practice, isn't it, to keep your vibe high when things get crunchy.
And that just makes me think, like, that's being able to disconnect on all those sensory levels, to just connect. Sorry, that might have sounded like I said disconnect. To just connect on all those sensorial levels, so that you are bringing your adventures at the conference with you. Like, it stays with you through that cup of tea each day.
Keep them alive.
Which brings us to you have been so beautiful again this year to hand out a coupon for women if they would like to, like, so they'll be able to drink the tea at the conference, obviously, but for those who can't attend, or, you know, we want to take that out into our lives every day, we've got a coupon for buying Organic India. Do you want to talk about that?
That's right. Yes. So when you go home after enjoying lots of different blends of Organic India Tulsi, if you go to the website organicindia.com.au, so the .com.au, the Australian site, and enter WISE 2023, so WISE 2023, just all caps, for 15% off your Tulsi, so you can keep that Tulsi flowing. And there are lots of different blends, as you'll see. There are wellness teas, there's digestive teas, cleanse teas, sleepy time teas, and then all sorts of probably the familiar teas. You'll see Tulsi with licorice and Tulsi with chamomile. So whether you like fruity or floral or spicy herbal tea, or whether you like a little tea with a little bit of green tea, herbal tea with green, or with your black tea with masala chai, whichever way you like your tea, I'm sure there'll be a Tulsi blend that you'll really enjoy. And Organic India really wants to share the Tulsi love, as we say, but really support all of those incredible, beautiful, wise women doing this incredible work, just being themselves and doing this incredible work. So we hope you can enjoy some Tulsi tea at home.
I just have this vision of, like, again, what did you call it? Chain of consciousness?
Yeah, the chain of
and
consciousness.
Chain of support as well, and chain of nourishment, and just all the ways that we're just building that, you know, now as we're talking and we're connecting people online, but then as we're coming into conference, and then as we leave conference, in the way that the Tulsi can just continue that little connection and that feeling of nourishment, and delicious. Beautiful.
Yes. So I just wish you the happiest, most heartwarming gathering this year. It's a beautiful, beautiful coming together, and just I hope all the wise women are able to soak up every minute and enjoy the healing and the nourishment and the inspiration that this gathering brings.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sarada. I think that's beautiful pause. And we will just say that you've been with us at conference before. You're unable to come this year, but I'm sure you'll be back again, or someone from your company.
Absolutely, I will be back again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And in the meantime, we do have on Insta somewhere the journey with Tulsi, the meditation and self-care rituals. So actually I might include that as a link for you, Hollie, to share with the tribe. If anyone wants to delve more into a simple mindful practice, simply a way to be with your tea in your tea break, we'll get a link through to you. It's similar to what we did last year at conference. So some inspiration for a nourishing self-care ritual just to do in your tea break.
Perfect.
Once you're
That would
back
be
at
amazing.
Home.
Yeah, that would be really great. We'll put that in the links with all the other things we've talked about. Thank you.
Beautiful.
We
Thank
appreciate
you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate
sending
you.
gratitude down those chains all the way
Namaste.
out to India.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We'll
Bye-bye.
press stop and then we'll have a chat. And for the rest of you, stay on, because I will be coming back in a different outfit to talk about coupons for purchasing your tickets if you want a discount.